Sun Devils show. I am Erik. We're going to be back from the dead, and alongside me,
the
man who makes me feel alive. That's it.
Wow.
Totri. That's right, baby. We're starting off hot and strong because I want to forget that yesterday even happened. As far as I'm concerned, basketball doesn't even exist.
True.
That is in the past. We're talking some football today, but first and foremost, Mr. Totri, how you feeling?
I mean, that was just a beautiful, beautiful introduction.
Thank you.
This is phenomenal. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's a tiers day. We're going to get into some tier list stuff. And I'm excited because football's right around the corner.
Dude.
Like you said, basketball doesn't exist.
What did you tell me before the show that got me so excited?
We got spring football kicking off literally the following Monday after the Pac-12 tournament.
So we'll watch all that behind us.
Absolutely.
Once ASU wins the Pac-12 tournament.
Absolutely. Well, okay.
What? You don't agree?
No, I don't agree. Are you kidding me? It's not a real thing. Arizona State doesn't play basketball.
I know.
It's
going to be really great when they actually get a basketball program. It's going to be really good.
When they get one, do they have to go like buy one at like a Home Depot? Oh, they're going to start one?
Yeah, we're going to get some funding. We're going to actually start a basketball
program. Oh my goodness, Glenn in the chat, ASU basketball like Manti Te'o's girlfriend doesn't exist. Manti Te'o's girlfriend might be more real than Arizona State basketball's chances of winning the absolutely. We got Clint in the chat, guys. Do us a solid, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, do us one other solid. If you're listening on audio, go ahead, give us a 5-star review. Let us know what you like about this podcast. But today, Erik, we're going to change it up a little bit. Normally when we do tier lists, we go S tier, A tier, whatever. Today we're going to be doing way too early win total predictions across the Big 12. We're talking ASU, Colorado, Baylor, Houston, Kansas, etc. So instead of the normal S tier, blah, 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 we are going to be going 10-plus wins. I believe we've got 8, 9 wins. We've got 5 through 7, 2 through 4, and then 0 and 1 win predictions all the way across the board. So, you ready to get started?
As long as I can piss off somebody, I'm ready.
Well, no, everybody's going to absolutely agree with us because that's exactly what happens every single time we do a tier list. It never fails.
Should we start with Colorado so that all the Colorado fans get in here and we can do a little
Do they just hear us? They just hear us and immediately
I say it 2 more times and then they show up.
The number's just going to immediately jump. That'd be crazy.
Colorado Buffaloes. All right, let's see what happens.
Okay, let's go ahead.
You want to start with them now?
Let's start with Colorado. We could take a look at what they got on deck for their schedule. Obviously, something that this is a team in Deion coach Prime Sanders, Colorado Buffs, that obviously return Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, 2 of the best players in college football. We know they tried to beef up the trenches.
They beefed it up, but it's like going from like a super thin patty to like just 2 thin patties. So like
it's like in and out. It's like in and out.
Yeah, except for I like it in and out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to besmirch.
I do, but if we're talking about beef, it's honestly no. It's not in and out grade beef. We're talking like. It's worse than that, to be completely honest with you. In terms of the beef,
no free ads
for Colorado. It's like Mickey D's beef, man. It's McDonald's level beef. It's mid. It's not very good. That's exactly what Colorado did over the offseason. Maybe they got some more beef, but it's Mickey D's. Okay, it's $1.99, not quality stuff. They've got North Dakota State to open up the season. Then they've got Nebraska, Colorado State. We obviously know about the Nebraska rivalry. The Colorado State, it's a very, very similar schedule to start non-conference play. Don't sleep on North Dakota State, okay? Don't sleep on North Dakota State. But you look across their schedule, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. Immediately, I think that they lose to Arizona. They lose to Kansas State. They probably lose to Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. They have such a tough end of the road. I feel like 5 wins is where I'm going to put
so
Colorado.
let's go through the wins. Okay, North Dakota State, you'd like to think that's a win.
Let's give them North Dakota State.
Okay, so that's 1. Nebraska
is not good. I'll give them Nebraska.
2. Colorado State plays them tough.
They do. They absolutely do play them tough.
Somebody's ending up
and
in the hospital.
it's at Colorado State.
It's at Colorado State.
Give me the upset. I'm taking Colorado
so that's
State
2.
in that game.
Baylor.
They probably beat Baylor.
Baylor's kind of dog water, yeah. UCF.
They beat UCF, and then they lose out.
They lose out.
Oh, no, they'll beat Cincinnati. They'll probably beat Cincinnati.
That's 5.
Is that 5 wins
That's
right
5.
there?
So 5.
5 wins feels about right for me.
Okay.
5 wins for Colorado. So we can go ahead. Let's take a look at the tier list in and of itself just to give everybody an idea. So we will go ahead. We'll put Colorado in the 5 to 7 win mark. That way everybody kind of has an idea as to what this tier list is going to be looking like as we go through it. So Buffs between 5 and 7. Erik, where do you want to go next?
Let's go outside of former Pac-12 teams. Let's do the Cincinnati fans. They were real mad at us last time.
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's
do some Cincinnati.
What do you got for the Bearcats?
So
here?
Their schedule looks like this. They got Towson. That looks like a win to me. Then they got Pitt.
Do you know where Towson is?
No clue.
Me either.
No, I thought you would know.
Why would I know that?
My favorite part of college athletics is the first game on Power 5 programs conference or non-conference schedule, because I swear it's always a made-up school. It is always
not real.
It is always a school that does not exist, that is just made up for money laundering purposes. So they got Towson, Pitt, Miami of Ohio, Houston, Texas Tech, UCF, ASU, Colorado, West Virginia, Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU. So Cincinnati last season, 3-9. That was good for last in the Big 12, 1-8 in conference. Give them Towson. Pitt.
They lose to Pitt.
They're going to lose to Pitt. Then you got Miami of Ohio. They should beat Miami of Ohio.
They should beat Miami of Ohio.
Lose to Houston.
Lose to Tech.
UCF.
That's just a battle of garbage.
Okay, so we'll revisit UCF. We're at 2. ASU should win that game.
Yeah, they should.
Okay. Colorado.
We had Colorado
won that game. West Virginia was a good team last year. West Virginia should win that game.
Yeah.
Iowa State, Kansas State.
TCU.
So TCU, UCF are the 2 maybes. Towson and Miami of Ohio are the 2 for sure. So do we want to go 3 wins?
I give them 3 wins.
That's what they were at last season. So they flatten out.
Okay, so
basically.
We'll go Cincinnati falls in the 3 win mark. So right there. Just below Colorado, they are going to be in the 2 to 4 win range.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'll consider 2 wins. But it would keep them in the same tier.
It works because it keeps them in that same tier. Glenn in the chat got 3 to 4 wins for Cincy. I'm guessing Towson in Ohio. Is that
I tell you what, Erik Ruby, investigative journalist.
We do have Google in front of us.
Maryland.
Wow.
It's a public university in Maryland.
Who commits to play football at Towson University? Give me a made up person right now.
Jacob _Franklin.
Wow, that's where you're going? I was going Johnny Appleseed. That was immediately was coming out of my mind.
I don't know why. The first thing I thought of was just a bunch of Jacob Franklins.
We both thought Jay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so.
Should
I look up their
Tigers?
No, their last year's schedule for them.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see it. How good was Towson? The Towson Tigers, 5-6.
They're 5-6 overall, 4-4 in conference. They lost 38-6 to Maryland, 42-23 to Monmouth. They beat Morgan State at Morgan State. We all know that's a huge rivalry. They won 20-10. They lost. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to read this off anymore. But no, they're
not very good.
They're not good. They're not good. They beat Rhode Island. They lost to Villanova in football, 33-10. So
Villanova has a football team?
Exactly.
That's crazy, man.
Exactly. So I would say that's a pretty guaranteed game.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's do UCF.
Okay.
They were 6-7 last season. They were 9th in the Big 12. I believe it was their first season in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Not horrible. We know that they've definitely improved in terms of some of their recruiting rankings. It's been kind of impressive to see what they've been able to do. But they start off with New Hampshire. Then they've got Sam Houston in TCU. Listed as a non-conference game, although that was probably something that was scheduled prior to that. So just
doesn't U of A have something similar?
U of A has Kansas State. Yeah, absolutely. So look, I'll give them New Hampshire and I'll give them Sam Houston. I think they probably at TCU.
TCU's an interesting one.
They are an interesting one
because I honestly don't know how to judge TCU because they're going to be an extra year removed from losing everybody to the NFL. They do have relatively good success as a college football program. I mean, they hit heights very high heights a couple years ago. I just don't know if they're going to be as bad as they were last year.
I'll give TCU the dub there.
Yeah, I mean, they were 5-7, and you would expect them to get better. Now, and UCF in conference last year was 3-6. So was TCU. So
what do we have for that Colorado game? What did we say? Did we say that they would?
I think we had Colorado beating UCF.
Colorado beating UCF.
So right now we're 2 for 4 on UCF. At Florida,
they lose to Florida.
Cincinnati.
We gave Cincinnati that win, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. We
gave
Cincy that win. They'll lose to Iowa State. They'll lose to BYU.
They'll lose to Arizona. They should lose to Arizona State. But
they'll lose to West Virginia. They'll lose to Utah.
So they'll be in 2 to 4 as well. So it doesn't even really matter that Cincinnati game that can kind of flip either way. It's going to be them in 2 to 4. I don't know if we're going to have any 0 to 1s. Now that I'm thinking about it.
We might.
Just because these were already 2 of the stinkier teams.
The stinkier teams?
Yeah, the stinky. I could smell them from over here.
What did it smell like?
Like Jacob_Franklin 4. No, I'm kidding. I don't know why. Jacob's just on my mind right now. I don't know why.
Jacob's running through your thoughts, man.
I just want to give him plugs on Twitter. Everybody should follow him. Great follow.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see.
We got some U of A fans already in the chat.
No.
You want to appease the U of A fans? Or
Do I?
You want to do Arizona? Nah, we'll do Arizona a little bit later.
Let's make them wait.
Let's do Iowa State. We got Iowa State.
I kind of like Iowa State this year, man.
I do too. I
like Rocco.
They've got North Dakota. And first off, this is my biggest gripe with Iowa State and Iowa. They play their rivalry game way too fucking early in the season. Iowa State plays Iowa the second week of the season. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I want that game late November in the snow. That's what I want. I don't want it early September. It's disgusting to me.
Is it just because it's a non-conference game?
I guess. But still, there are teams that have non-conference games to finish the season.
How many rivalries like that are non-conference games?
Well,
because that didn't even really sink in.
A thing.
Yeah, it didn't really even sink in with me that it's a non-conference.
It's weird though. It's weird. Yeah. I don't like it, but I think Iowa wins that game. Iowa over, the last how many years, it's just been a better football program. I think they beat North Dakota. They beat Arkansas State. That's 2 wins.
Houston's
gonna be an interesting one.
I'd say though the Houston and Iowa State won't be too far away from each other, but
I'm gonna say they lose to Houston.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
On the road?
I think Iowa State gets better. I think both Houston and Iowa State get better than they were last year. I think Iowa State clearly has a better quarterback. And Houston last year was 2-7 in conference and 4-8 overall. It is going to be their second year in the Big 12, and there's an adjustment period for sure. But no, I think they're going to win that game. We'll see if it splits the tiers, and then we can talk it out.
That's 3 wins. So I think they beat Baylor. That's 4. Yep, I think they beat West Virginia.
Agree.
That's 5.
You think they beat West Virginia, but they lose to Houston?
Yeah, I do.
That's interesting.
And then I think they beat UCF. That's what, 6 wins? 6 wins right now?
Okay.
Texas Tech, they probably lose. Kansas, they probably lose. Cincinnati, they win. That's 7. Utah, they probably lose. Kansas State's another tough one. They're at home in that one.
The only games that I look at as, like, I would say significantly leaning towards a loss is Kansas State. I think Kansas State's going to be a better team.
Okay.
Utah, Kansas, and Iowa. Okay, so those 4, I would say those 4 are not guaranteed, but like I'm heavily leaning losses.
Yeah.
They're going to beat Cincinnati. They're going to beat UCF. They're going to beat Arkansas State and North Dakota. So that's at 4 wins.
That's 5.
They're going to beat Baylor.
Oh, yeah, 5.
I don't know if they beat West Virginia and Houston.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's put up the tier list just that way we can get an idea of where we want to put them.
If we're
5 to 7?
I guess 5 to 7, it wouldn't really matter either way because we're gonna give them North Dakota, Arkansas State, Baylor,
and we could put them in front of Colorado,
UCF, Cincinnati. Yeah, we could do 5 to 7.
Okay,
yeah, we could do 5 to 7.
Being 5 to 7.
I'm kind of high on Iowa State.
I am too.
I feel like they're gonna be a good team.
Absolutely, like I said, I love their quarterback.
I could see them being at that 7 range, but I don't think Houston beats them. But I do think West Virginia beats them.
That's valid. So just to recap, we'll go ahead. We'll put the tier list up one more time for everybody on audio right now. 5 through 7 wins. We've got Iowa State and Colorado. In the 2 to 4 win range, we have Cincinnati and UCF. Still plenty of teams to go, guys. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about what I did last night. Yes, I watched Arizona State basketball, but that wasn't the highlight of my evening.
It wasn't?
The highlight of my evening was logging into the BetMGM Sportsbook app and seeing that I had a nice, juicy parlay that cashed.
Bang.
It was absolutely incredible, guys. BetMGM, if you haven't signed up already, they've still got an amazing offer for you to take advantage of. Super, super simple. Just download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account and place a wager in the amount of at least $5, a standard odds price. And once you've placed a bet, you guys are going to receive $150 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. Plenty of NBA games to bet on this evening. I know the Suns are back in action against the Rockets. We'll obviously see if the Suns can take care of business.
They better. They didn't last time they played the Rockets, and then they play them again 2 days from now. 2 days from now.
Guys, just to recap, sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5, and you guys are going to receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
I'm not going to say good stuff, Puerto Rico. I like my man Flex just a little bit too much.
Flex from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, he's Puerto Rican. He's from Jersey because it's Flex from Jersey,
Yeah, there you
which
go.
I didn't know. He talks about it all the time. I'm like, you're from Jersey? I had no clue.
Flex still doesn't follow me on Twitter, dude.
He doesn't?
No.
Oh, do I have
I know.
Let's see. Wait, do I have the Flex follow?
The Flex follow is like, it's hard to get, man. It's a really tough thing to accomplish in life.
I'm sorry, brother.
He follows you?
Yeah, he follows me.
Wow, that's crazy.
I do produce his show.
This guy literally, he tweeted at me while I was at Waffle House and still didn't follow me.
You know,
It's crazy.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm happy for you for winning your parlay. I'm sorry you didn't get that Flex follow because you could probably cash that in for some money as well.
Absolutely.
And with all your newfound riches, once Flex does follow you, you're going to want to make sure that they stay nice and safe. And you can do that with Desert Financial Credit Union, the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. And this just in, but not just in because I say it all the time, the official banking partner of Erik Ruby. Been using them my entire life, and they've been in the Valley for more than 84 years. They're Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions. If you need to get savings accounts, checking accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Plus, to me, the people are always super nice. I go in all the time. I got questions. I lose my debit card, which happens about once a month. That's just kind of how I roll. They're always dealing with a smile on their face. And right now, if you want some free money, which I know free money is great, you can open up a free checking account online, get $200. Plus, for all of you that want to rep ASU with every purchase everywhere you go, you get 3 different ASU designs on their Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU if you want to be like me or if you want to prove it to me and say, I can be better at using Desert Financial than you. Either way.
Be better. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Because some people, they just want to be better than me, man. And you know what? They usually can do it. And
I
you can
wake
do
up
it.
every day, I look in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna be better than Erik Ruby today.
And you know what? You do it.
Every day.
And you do it really well.
Never fails, man. Never
you
fails.
do it really well.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the Kansas Jayhawks and their schedule here in 2024. We've got another made-up school that they play. They start off the season with Lindenwood.
Okay, taking guesses on where Lindenwood is.
Lindenwood, give me somewhere in the Carolinas.
No.
No?
Any guesses from behind the Max? Nope, not Oregon. It's in the South. Missouri.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, Kansas get to play Lindenwood. Then they've got Illinois, UNLV to round out non-conference play. I feel like Kansas can take care of all 3 of those teams.
Kansas, yeah.
With Jalen Daniels at their quarterback position. I mean,
he's got a point to prove,
super high on Jalen this season. Then they've got West Virginia on the road. That might be a tougher game.
It's going to be tough. I still think they win that game.
Okay, they win that game.
I think they beat TCU.
I think they beat TCU.
I think they beat Arizona State.
I think they beat Arizona State as well.
I think they beat Houston.
Okay.
And then we get to Kansas State.
That's going to be a good game.
That's the interesting one.
At Kansas State.
I'll take Kansas State in
I'll
that
take
game.
Kansas State.
Okay, so that's their first, maybe second loss, if you want to talk West Virginia, is Kansas State. Then Iowa State, we gave Kansas the win there.
Yep.
BYU, win for Kansas. Colorado win for
Kansas.
Okay, are we looking at a 2-loss season?
We might be looking at...
I mean, that seems a little extreme, but when you look at the schedule here, like
it could shake out that way.
The tough games. Was Illinois football any good last year?
UNLV?
No, Illinois. 5-7, 4th in the Big Ten. No, they weren't. They weren't good last year. I
think we're looking at a good team here in Kansas.
Oh, they're 23 in the nation last year.
So you want to say 10
overall?
You want to give them 10 wins there?
They were 9-4, but they were 5-4 in conference, and I think that they can clean that up real easy this year.
Mind you, Jalen Daniels, I'm pretty sure didn't play a whole.
No, he didn't, and he is going to be coming off of a pretty major back injury. But he has been very clear that he has a point to prove.
And he's going to put the fucking Jayhawks on his back and carry him to 10 wins.
But listen, man, don't sleep on Lindenwood. Okay? Don't sleep on. You want to hear a fun fact about Lindenwood University?
Sure.
Founded in 1832, their graduation rate is 51%, but I can't make fun of that because I just mispronounced the word graduation. Okay. Yeah. What? So 2 losses for Kansas?
10 wins,
so
man.
I'm good with 10 wins too.
Wins.
I'm actually strangely extremely confident.
I am too.
I think they have a pretty favorable schedule.
Let's go ahead. We can move Kansas to that top tier, man.
Wow.
10 plus wins.
First one in the 10 plus.
Absolutely. And we can also move UCF ahead of Cincinnati. Sharon was bringing that up in the chat. Yeah, Cincinnati is definitely the worst team there. But Kansas, man, they've been on a roll lately at our tier list.
I mean, as they should be, right? Yeah. Like what, you tier overall athletic departments? You have a football program that we're saying is going to get 10 plus wins. You have a blue blood basketball program that's probably going to make it to somewhere in the Sweet 16 to maybe even win the whole thing. If everything goes right, they're probably not going to win the whole thing. But you have a very good basketball program. Like, if I was the athletic director at the University of Kansas, I'd be going to the president of the university and saying, hi, I'd like a raise right now, please, and thank you. Look at what our programs did, specifically football. Kansas football was a goddamn joke. They were a goddamn joke. And now we're talking about 10 plus wins. That's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We had somebody in the chat, Glenn, asking about Kansas keeping their coach. So ironically enough, just the other day, literally yesterday, Kansas football coach Lance Leopold signed an amended contract Wednesday, increased his overall compensation to more than $40 million through the 2029 season. So that's going to give him a good chunk of money to I guess, disperse among his assistants and support staff. So Kansas certainly going to be a pretty solid team heading into this upcoming college football season. Where do you want to go from here?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, let's get a boring team out of the way. Let's get BYU.
Okay, we could do BYU here, saving some of the juicy ones for a little bit later in the show. BYU.
They have a semi-fake school. Like, I believe this is a real school, but...
BYU?
Yeah, their first game is against Southern Illinois Salukis. That's their mascot? It looks like a wolf?
Sure, that's real. Why not? Southern Illinois.
BYU wins.
SMU and then Wyoming. Don't sleep on Wyoming is all I've heard.
Yeah, we've been told that quite a bit.
And SMU as well. SMU is a game that I feel like the Mustangs can just randomly win that game.
I don't think BYU is going to be that good this year.
I don't think BYU is going to be that good either.
I would not be surprised if they're hanging out around the bottom of the Big 12.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not like the complete bottom, but like somewhere
they're
around
on their
there.
side.
Yeah,
not
somewhere
on their side.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say they get the dub over Southern Illinois. Okay. They've set the world on fire.
Okay.
Then they lose on the road back-to-back non-conference games against SMU, Wyoming. Then they start off conference play with Kansas State. I think that's probably an L. They're at Baylor. I don't think Baylor is a very good team.
No, they'll beat Baylor.
I think they beat Baylor, but Baylor and BYU...
Have we given Baylor a win against anybody?
I don't think so. I think Baylor and BYU are very similar, so that's a toss-up game for me.
Okay.
They lose to Arizona. They lose to Oklahoma State.
Yep. I think we gave UCF a win.
Okay.
I think we gave UCF a win.
God. They lose to Utah. They lose to Kansas. Arizona State.
That's going to be a better game than their other two games.
Late in the season. Arizona State.
Have we had anybody losing to Arizona State?
I don't think we just haven't got to a lot of teams.
I know.
I'm
just trying to think. Because I don't want to get to the ASU schedule. It's like, wow, we picked every team to lose to ASU. Because I don't think
beats by
Colorado
shit. Guys back. Let's go.
Put your money where your freaking mouth is, man. Slide in this dude's DMs at Anthony Totri, or you can just look up Waffle House on Twitter and his tweet will come up. And you slide in those DMs and you put up your money, put your money where your mouth is, Beats by Bandes. I'm sick of it. Sorry.
Back to BYU. Arizona State. Do they beat Arizona State on the road? I think Arizona State
matter as far as the rankings go? Because like so we have Southern Illinois win.
Okay.
We have a win over Wyoming?
No, I think they lose Wyoming.
So we were having them lose SMU and Wyoming.
Yeah. I do think they beat Baylor, though.
Okay, so that's 2. And then... So it would be 2-3. 2-4. They'd be in the 2-4 anyway. Wow. Even if they beat Arizona State and Houston.
Last season, 5-7 in conference? I feel like they're going to sneak out a win.
BYU was 2-7 in conference,
5-7 overall. 11th in the Big 12. Yeah, they were not very good.
I mean, that's the thing is the last 2 games of the season, Arizona State and Houston are two teams that were not that great last year. With Arizona State, you can expect a pretty big bump. Houston, I think that people expect to get a little bit better. I have not heard a lot about BYU.
I haven't either. Sharon, BYU plays Wyoming on the road, so Wyoming will be home in that game. So do you want to go 2 to 4 wins?
Yeah, not 0-1. I mean,
and
they'll get more than just Southern Illinois.
Yeah, I think Baylor might be the only team that we're looking at.
Above or below Cincinnati? Below UCF?
Oof. I'll give them, I think Cincinnati's garbage, so we could put BYU ahead.
How dare you say all the Cincinnati fans on Twitter? How dare
I had a Cincinnati football player's dad in my mentions.
You know what? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I saw
and
that.
It's funny because that dad was actually, it's Carter Brown's dad, who used to be a kicker at Arizona State, and then transferred to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Didn't like our tier list that we did probably a couple weeks ago about something Cincinnati related, but hey.
I think it was overall athletic programs.
It is.
Get a grip.
It is what it is. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do Oklahoma State. Okay. A team that I think is going to be pretty solid. I'm just curious about the quarterback position moving forward. Something similar again. That was, I don't want to say an issue this past season, but it was certainly something.
I mean, they were 10-4, 7-2 overall. They definitely figured it out.
Yeah.
You're
absolutely right.
It was strange, but it didn't exactly hinder them completely. I think they'll have some more clarity this year.
I think they start off 2-1.
They beat South Dakota State.
How was Arkansas last season? Was Arkansas any good? I mean, they're in the SEC, so you got to
They were 4-8, 6 in the SEC West.
So not very good.
They were last in the SEC West, and they were 6th overall in the SEC. They were 1-7 in conference.
I'll give Oklahoma State 3 straight wins.
So they were 3-1 before SEC play. Arkansas was. Yeah, I think Oklahoma State clears them.
Okay, so they
Utah, Oklahoma State. Now that's going to be a game. That might be one of the best games we've talked about so far.
I'm going to say Oklahoma State wins that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So they're 4-0.
Oak State gets that one out.
Actually that gauntlet of 3 games for Oklahoma State, because then they take on Kansas State
on the road,
and then they take on West Virginia at home.
Be honest. I think Oklahoma State probably loses both those games back to back, Kansas State and then West Virginia.
So you think they beat Utah and then they lose to Kansas State?
That just feels right. I don't have an explanation for you, but I still feel like that's the type of back to back that you get for Oklahoma State's certainly going to be ranked at that point, and they go on the road to Kansas State and they lose.
Kansas State on the road, I will agree with you on a loss,
because there's so much parity in the Big 12.
I could see them flipping Utah and West Virginia. I could see them losing to Utah and winning against West Virginia.
But we agree they only win one of those 3.
They win one of those 3. I agree.
Okay. They beat BYU.
Yep, they beat Baylor. They beat Arizona State. They beat TCU. They beat Texas Tech, and they beat Colorado. So we're looking at 10 wins.
Is that another 10-win team?
Because we only have 2 losses.
Yeah, you're right. So
I mean, they were 10-4 last year.
Oklahoma State, there you go. You're a 10-win football team. That's crazy. All right, let's go ahead. Throw Oklahoma State. We could throw them behind Kansas. It doesn't really matter when they're in the 10-win mark. But
yeah, they're going to get mad at us over that.
It's fine. Beat by Bands or whatever his name is in the chat is just going crazy about Colorado, talking about the roster and all those things, man. It's crazy. Don't forget your win total is going to bump up a couple games after that.
After Quavo comes out of the spring game, baby, those books are going to change their line. Absolutely. No, listen, Colorado, man, if I was a Colorado fan, I'd be doing the same shit. So I don't blame you. I'd be talking myself all the way into it, right? I'd be selling myself on Deion so hard if he was my only option. He took me out of complete poverty to only semi-poverty. I would be definitely selling myself on it. So I don't blame you. I just would be a lot less annoying about it. We way better than Arizona. God damn it. You know how stupid you have to be for me to defend the University of Arizona? You know how stupid you have to be for me to be like, actually, U of A's better. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it just...
Yes, Glenn, Oklahoma State winning 10 games. They won 10 games with 4 quarterbacks before, plus the Gundy kid left. I'm pretty sure he transferred.
He entered the portal. I don't know if he ended up finding a place to go, to be completely honest with you. So it is what it is.
There's no place like home. Alan Bowman's going to be their quarterback.
Who's played 1,000,005 years of college football. He is going to be part-timing as an accountant for the 3rd year outside of football. Then he's going to be their starting quarterback because the man needs to get a goddamn job. But Eric's getting spicy over here, man.
I've been gone for like a week, so I had to do it. No, he's a senior. He is their best quarterback as well. He's going to be their starting quarterback. But the good thing about having multiple quarterbacks that have even gotten playing time before is that if he does go down, they've proven that they can still operate. I have a lot of faith in Oklahoma State. They were higher in the Big 12 standings than Oklahoma last year. Granted, they had one extra game and one more loss. But I don't know where that extra game came from for them. But
Probably the bowl game.
That's bowl game. Did Oklahoma not play in a bowl game? No, they played in a bowl game. They lost to Arizona.
Lost, yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't do math. ASU grad here.
I know it's tough. Let's go ahead. Let's do Arizona. Let's do the Wildcats since I know there's a bunch of Arizona fans in the chat. When it comes to the Wildcats, man, I'm
Do we just want to not even go through and just say and then move on?
I mean, look, they're gonna start off 2-0. New Mexico, NAU at home, they win those. Kansas State on the road's a tough football game to close out.
Have we done Kansas State's record yet?
We haven't done Kansas State yet.
Okay.
Arizona, in my opinion, loses that game to Kansas State.
We have given every single team that plays at Kansas State a loss.
I think they lose.
And I'm not saying that's like a bad thing.
I think they lose. That's your welcome to the Big 12 moment.
It's probably going to be pretty cold.
It's going to be a good football game, but I think that's Brent Brennan's first real taste of the new conference.
It'll be a good test.
And I think Kansas State on the road is just a tough matchup. Then they've got Utah on the road. I think they lose that game. So they start off 2-2.
Okay.
They beat Tech.
Yep.
They beat BYU in Colorado. They beat West Virginia. They beat UCF.
They might run the gauntlet after that.
Well, they beat Houston, they beat TCU, and then they lose to Arizona State.
That's fair. So we'll give them 9 wins.
Lose to Arizona State. Yeah, 9 wins for me. 9 wins for me. I can, like I said, 8-9 wins for sure.
Oh, they're gonna be so mad. They're gonna be so mad in the chat. Because guess what? You ain't making the college football playoffs.
No, you're not. You're not. Absolutely not. There you go. Jervis even agrees. They're more than 7-8. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll be totally honest with you. Arizona fans,
Jarvis.
They like, again, they are passionate, but they have like a level of they've been hurt before and they know. The same way ASU fans have.
That's
where
fair.
It's like we
No, but they're not that way in basketball though.
No, because in basketball it is what it is.
But in basketball they get hurt even more. In basketball it's worse.
Yeah.
Like they're better, which makes it worse.
I mean, that's valid. That's valid. Look, Arizona, they're going to be a good team. Arizona's going to be a solid team.
Arizona's not running the gauntlet.
What Brent Brennan does as the football coach, though. I've said it before. I think there's a lot of pressure on Brennan returning as many players as he did. Like, immediately, you're not going to be able to pivot any blame if there isn't immediate success on the players. It immediately falls on Brennan because you're returning Noah Fifita. You're returning T-Mac. Like, Jervis bringing it up in the chat, like you got to see what Brent Brennan is made of as a coach.
Yeah,
especially your first like real game is on the road at Kansas State.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you lost your best running back, you lost one of your best defensive players, Ephesians Price-Hawk, and you didn't really go out and get
losing a tackle, an NFL level tackle that's in the NFL draft.
You didn't really go out and get a lot of recruits to kind of like replace that. And yeah, you guys have your core 3. You guys, we're saying you're a good football team. Like we're not sitting up here saying you're going to be in 0.
Yeah, I know 8-9 wins is fucking. Like, it's too little. It's too little for
like,
Arizona.
I get it.
Wildcat
You guys had 10 wins last year. I understand, and you know you want that, but
10 wins got worse.
Yeah, like you got a new coach that was at San Jose State. He might be good, but like let's chill.
I don't know if he's good.
He might be.
He's average.
He might be. Listen, I like Jervis. I think I might have found a favorite Wildcat. And it's Jervis. Because he's saying he's not hating, just cautious. Like, I feel like we're actually being very fair and realistic right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, though.
If everything goes right for them.
It doesn't matter if we're fair and honest. We've got fans of Colorado telling us that their win total is going to jump up off the spring game. We've got Arizona Wildcat fans saying this is trash because we said their team is going to win 9 fucking games. And last year they won, what, 10? And that was their greatest season of all time. So let's pump the brakes, okay? We're dropping knowledge bombs over here. You're going to learn a thing or two on the PHNX Sun Devils show today. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the Baylor Bears. 11th in the Big 12 last season, 3-9 overall. They're a bad football team. The existence of the Baylor football program is just, it kind of blows my mind. Because growing up, I remember Baylor being like good.
Yeah.
Baylor was good. Now they're awful. They're a horrible team. Now, they start with Tarleton State. I think they win that game. Their second non-conference game
is Tarleton State. That's Texas. You can see it in the
Tarleton
logo.
State,
I was about to say, where is Tarleton?
ASU fans know a thing or two about Tarleton.
That's
State.
right.
Utah is their second game on the road. They lose that. Air Force, they probably win that game.
So that's 2. So that's the thing is that takes them out of the 0-1.
It takes them out of the 0-1.
Right.
Because
so I don't think
they got one win. Oh no, they got two wins.
I don't think anybody's going to be in the 0-1 because you're playing a team like Tarleton State.
Who else do they beat here?
Oh, I don't know if they beat anybody else. We have them losing to Colorado. We have them losing to BYU. We have them losing to Iowa State. We haven't done Texas Tech yet, have we? No, we haven't. They're probably going to lose to Texas Tech. They're going to lose to Oklahoma State. They're probably going to lose to TCU. They're going to definitely lose to West Virginia.
Hear me out. I think they beat TCU. That's the type of game TCU loses. It's at home for Baylor. It's a little bit later in the season. Baylor's struggling to get their first conference win of the season. Like, I feel like that is.
Are they more likely to beat TCU or Houston?
I mean, I don't think it matters. I think they get to 3 wins, though, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
You comfortable with 3 wins for Baylor?
I'm not comfortable right now because I'm choking on my own spit. But yes, I'm comfortable with that take.
Whoa. You good there, buddy?
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Beats by Bandes just has me in a chokehold right now.
It's fine. Let him have you in a chokehold, dude.
No, it's okay. TCU.
There's going to be a lot of shit teams at the bottom of this conference.
Well, that's the thing is, they're not going to be 0-1, but they're not going to be over 4 wins.
All right, let's go. We could put Baylor in the 2 and 4. You want to put them above
Cincinnati? I feel like they're tied with Cincinnati. I don't think it matters to me.
You're right. It doesn't matter because they're both really, really bad.
They're both trash.
Okay, so we've got what programs do we have left? We've got Arizona State. We've got Kansas State, Utah, Texas Tech, TCU, West Virginia, Houston. Am I missing any others?
Well, I've got an easy S tier for you.
Okay.
It's Sun Burrows.
There it is.
Because Sun Burrows doesn't just get 10-plus wins. Baby, they're undefeated. Because I'd go to Sun Burrows right now if I could. I'd lead this show right now if I was not contractually obligated.
Dude, I'm so hungry.
And Saul Bookman was off screen right now with a gun pointed at me saying I can't go to Sun Burrows because I really want to go to Sun Burrows right now. Not only do I want to have maybe some of their chili and beef chimneys, they can have basically anything that I want from tacos to nachos to burros. And plus, if I'm hosting a party, if let's say I'm dancing on Arizona's grave if they lose in the Sweet 16 or the round of 32, and I want to have all my bestest friends over to watch it, Sun Burrows,
pals,
they have me covered. Plus, right now, they're offering PHNX listeners 20% off their orders for the entire month of March. So I can't do that today, but I can do it tomorrow. Get 20% off food, man.
Dude, I'm so hungry.
20% off on the entire month of March. They're family owned and operated. They were voted Arizona's most loved Mexican restaurant. They have locations everywhere. 20% off your order of up to $100. So if you're catering, use code PHNX at checkout for the whole month of March. Available in restaurant, drive-thru, and when you order online. Not available on third-party delivery apps. So let's say like you and 4 or 5 people are going out to eat and you say, let's go to Sun Burrows. Everybody check out on one tab and then everybody gets 20% off of their meal.
I love it.
That's what we call math right there. So check out Sun Burrows at sunburrows.com to find a location near you. I'm sure there is one.
I love it. Well, look, if you're headed to Sun Burrows, might as well stop at Circle K. Get a nice deal on gas. Sign up for their new free membership program, Inner Circle. That's going to help you guys save money every single day. I'm talking about Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And then every day after that, you could save 3 cents per gallon. Not to mention, you're going to get every 6th free on a selection of Circle K products, pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks. And like I said, I am starving, and all of those things for a great price. Sounds amazing. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Just visit CircleK.com for details. Where do you want to go from here?
Let's do Utah.
Okay, let's do
Utah.
PM Beam in the chat. Big 12 is a tier 2 college football conference. I agree.
That's fair.
I mean, I totally agree with that. Big 10.
What would you have considered the Pac-12 before its untimely demise?
Tier 3 or 4. Is there 4 tiers or only 3 tiers in this?
Because the Pac-12 at the top, though.
Pac-12 and ACC are in the same, but Pac-12 is significantly better than the ACC.
Like the top of the Pac-12 was insane. I mean, you have Washington, Oregon, Arizona.
Yeah, that's valid.
I mean, after that, there's a drop off. Sorry, Clint, with Oregon State. But like Utah's in there. Utah's a good team, basically always. But let's see how they do this year.
Yeah, Utah. They got Southern Utah.
We know the UTSA, man.
They got Southern Utah, Baylor, Utah State. They sweep those first 3. Oklahoma State, man. We said Oklahoma State won that game, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Utah and Arizona is going to be a tough one. I forget who we gave that game to, but it doesn't really matter here because they're usually in the same tiers.
So I think we'll give that a win for. I think we gave Arizona a win on that.
We can give Arizona.
We'll see if it decides in between. So they're at 4-1 right now. They'll beat ASU, I think.
They'll beat ASU.
So that's 5-1.
TCU beat Houston.
7-1.
Beat BYU.
Do they run it out after that?
I don't.
Maybe we do give them a loss to Arizona.
I think they lose to Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Again,
Did we say that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
So we did Iowa State so long ago. But again, it doesn't really matter if it falls in the tiers.
So what are we looking at? 9?
I think they lose to Iowa State. I think they probably lose to Arizona and Oklahoma State.
So that's 3 losses.
So that puts them at 9 wins. Puts them in the 8-9
I'm okay
range.
with that. They were 8-5 last year.
Okay, let's go ahead.
They're 5-4 in conference though. So
put Utah in the same conversation as the Arizona Wildcats. I feel comfortable with that.
I'm okay with saying Arizona and Utah will be relatively similar programs, with Arizona being slightly better.
This list is going to piss a significant amount of individuals off.
But why? But why? Like, look at that's fair.
Yeah, but you're going to see. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen one more time. For everybody on audio, we got Kansas and Oklahoma State in the 10-win rank. We've got Arizona and Utah 8-9 wins. Iowa State and Colorado in the 5-7. UCF, BYU, Baylor, and Cincinnati in the 2-4, and nobody in the 0-1.
Okay, and part of this is on schedule as well, though.
Yeah, but Arizona fans and Utah fans are going to see that we have Kansas and Oklahoma State above them, and they are not going to like it.
Then they can start their own freaking podcast. Okay, like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We have both Kansas and Oklahoma State at 10. We have Arizona at 9, Utah at 8. Utah at 8 is so fair. I don't know what people are talking about.
Again, this isn't perfect, okay?
No, it's perfect. No, it's perfect.
No, I'm talking about Bear 520 down, talking about if you have to fix Arizona, it just... Bear 520 down wasn't in this chat for such a long period of time, and I forgot how just comfortable my life was. Like, I just moved on. You know, it was like I broke up with an ex, and eventually I just forgot about you. But you've returned. You started hitting me up again, Bear 520 down. It's okay. We can be friends, but you just need to understand that our relationship just isn't the same. Okay? I just need you to know that.
Deep here, man.
I'm just me, Bear 520 down. We go way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Way back into the birth of this show. Which was actually before me, to be completely honest with you. But let's go ahead. Let's do Kansas State. It's a program we've talked a lot about really throughout the day. And we have a lot of teams losing to Kansas State, specifically when Kansas State is at home. Another program that I think is going to be a much improved program. And if they're improved, they were already 4th in the Big 12 last year, 9-4 overall, at one point 18 in the AP Top 25. Start off with UT Martin, Tulane.
It's a loss to UT Martin for sure.
Stop it.
Are you kidding me? The Skyhawks?
They start off 4-0.
Yeah.
Start off 4-0. Like I said, UT Martin, Tulane, Arizona, BYU. Oklahoma State. That's a tough one.
Man, we should have marked down who we had losing to. I knew this was going to happen.
It doesn't necessarily matter because it's just a tier list. So, and they've got 8-9 wins.
No,
10
this will
wins.
keep me up at night.
Well, that will make one of us.
No, that's fair.
I think Oklahoma State wins that game.
Okay, I mean at that point, 4-1, it's understandable. They'll
Colorado,
beat the
they'll
brakes
beat
off Colorado.
They'll beat West Virginia.
Yeah, 6-1.
Kansas is a tough one.
I think we had them losing that game.
Okay, we got them losing that game.
6-2.
They'll beat Houston. They'll beat Arizona State.
They'll beat Cincinnati. At Iowa State is an interesting game
to close the season.
So, okay, does it change the tier if we have them beating or losing to Iowa State? We have them losing to...
Would it help you if I just pulled up the Big 12 standings from last year? That way
I have the Big 12
see.
standings from last year.
Oh, yeah. To the
yeah.
right of it?
I've got it.
So how many 10-win teams were there?
There were 3 10-win teams. You have Texas at 12-2. They're gone. You have Oklahoma State at 10-4. They're still there. And then you have Oklahoma at 10-3.
How many 9-win teams?
Gone. 9-win teams?
9 and 8-win.
You have 1, 2, 3... 3 9-win teams: Kansas State, West Virginia, and Kansas. Iowa State, not one of those teams. Iowa State was 7-6, but they had the same in-conference record as 2 9-4 teams in Kansas State and West Virginia at 6-3. So 6 of their 7 wins for Iowa State came from
Iowa State.
Yeah, came from in the Big 12 conference, and Kansas State was 6-3 in conference, 9-4 overall. I mean,
you want to call Kansas State a 10-win team or an 8 to 9-win team? I'll let you. You can make the decision on this one.
I had 8 to 9.
8 to 9 wins?
8 to 9.
Okay, I'm comfortable
I think
with
they'll be a better team, but like your schedule also kind of plays into this. I could see them losing to Iowa State. I could see them losing to Kansas, Arizona, and Oklahoma State. Those are all losable games for them, for sure.
I can live with that.
There are always games that people don't expect when somebody
there's a
loses.
parity game here or there throughout the season. All right, we can go ahead. We could put Kansas State in the same tier as Arizona and Utah. I'm comfortable with them being behind those two.
I'd say above Utah.
Above Utah, you think?
Yeah, I'd say above Utah.
Okay, we can go ahead and put them above Utah.
Just a gut feeling.
I'm interested to see what Utah does this season with Cam Rising back and Kyle Whittingham. And they got Jacob Cowing, did they not, from USC? Or who'd they get from USC that transferred, the wide receiver?
Singer,
Dorian Singer. Or not, is it Dorian Singer?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Jacob Cowing's in the draft. There you go. Dorian Singer. I knew there was one that transferred from USC or from Arizona to USC back in the portal to Utah. So it is going to certainly be interesting. But regardless, moving on from Kansas State, we've only got a couple of teams left before we do Arizona State, which I know is just going to make everybody so excited in the chat.
UCF, Texas Tech. We're actually so normal. We did. That's right. You did UCF.
Let's do West Virginia. West Virginia is an interesting one. It's unfortunate for West Virginia because they start off at home, but they play Penn State. Penn State is gonna beat the shit out of them, just to keep it 100% real with you guys. Then they play the University of Albany and then Pitt. I think West Virginia loses to Pitt on the road. So they start off 1-2. They lose to Kansas, that's 1-3. They lose to Oklahoma State, that's 1-4. They lose to Iowa State, 1-5. They lose to Kansas State, 1-6. This is a team that was
9-4 last year.
Yeah, look, I think the Big 12 has got some really good teams.
This might be the hardest schedule that we've seen.
I think they beat Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF. That's 3 wins.
I think they beat Texas Tech.
Really?
Yes.
I'm interested to see what Tech looks like. That's in Lubbock.
Dude, that is the hardest schedule we've seen.
It's definitely a tough one.
Penn State, Albany, who cares? Pitt, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF are the only 3 breathers there. And they're the 3 out of the last 4 games.
It really depends. If you want to give them the Tech win, that puts them as the first team in our 5-7 win mark. You want to do it?
Can I see the tier? Can I see the tier for a second just to see?
Oh, no, I guess we have 2.
Yeah,
we have 2 teams
they're
in the 5-7.
better than UCF. They're better than BYU. They're better than Baylor, and they're better than Cincinnati. And yes, they have a tough schedule.
We can put them at the tail end of the 5-7. I can live with that.
Yeah, I don't see a team going from 9-4 to 4 wins.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair.
Because they're 9-5, and it's not like they petered off in conference either. Like they were 6-3 in conference. Like they were one of the few 9-win teams. But that schedule, that is the hardest schedule that we have looked at.
No, you're absolutely right. Sharon in the chat, how do you lose draft stock going to Utah? She's referring to Bear 520 Downs comment. Sharon, I just ignore him. That's the best way to deal with the comments, to be completely honest with you.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hyperfixate on it. I mean, Pitt's not that good, if we're being honest. So they'll beat Pitt. But after Pitt, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona. That is a 5-week stretch from absolute hell.
It's a gauntlet, man. It's a gauntlet.
And they have their bye early. It's after the Kansas game. And then they have their bye, and then they have Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona, and back-to-back week.
Bear 520 down. What bet do you want to win? It says, if Arizona wins the Big 12, I want an invite to the show.
You're already on the show, brother.
What do I get if I win?
Got to put something up.
Yeah, if they don't win the Big 12.
You're so confident.
If they don't win the Big 12, what do I get, Bear 520 down?
If anything, you should be getting plus odds with how confident he is.
I don't need odds. I'll take the field on that one, but I need something that it makes it somewhat valuable to me. I'm not going to just throw you on the podcast for shits and gigs, man. Okay, we've got 4 teams left. We've got Houston, TCU, Texas Tech, and Arizona State. You want to do Texas Tech?
Sure.
Texas Tech's a unique one here. So Abilene Christian they start off with. Then they've got at Washington State.
That's an interesting game.
That is a very interesting game because Washington State was a pretty good football team last season, but no Cam Ward. They're no longer in the Pac-12.
Well, they were fine last year. They were 5-7. They weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't
I guess
great,
that's
and
fair.
they were 2-7 in conference. Plus, they are no longer in a conference. I don't know the state of their roster, but I would imagine that.
Let's say Texas Tech starts 3-0 then.
I think they beat Washington State. They were a better team last year, and Washington State has probably lost a good amount of resources and players due to the position that their football program is in. I don't know that for sure. I'm just kind of assuming.
Yeah.
So 3-0, then they go against Arizona State.
I think they lose to Arizona State.
I think Arizona State beats them as well. I don't think Texas Tech is in that level where you can just chalk up a win against Arizona State.
I agree. I think they beat Cincinnati.
Correct.
They lose to Arizona.
Correct.
They beat Baylor.
Correct.
Ooh.
TCU's an interesting game. Might need to revisit that one.
Okay.
They'll lose to Iowa State.
They beat Colorado.
Lose
to
to Oklahoma State.
Another tough one with West Virginia.
So if we're talking wins, 3 wins, 4 wins with Cincinnati, 5 wins with Baylor.
The rest doesn't matter. We could throw them in the 5 to 7 tier.
5 to 7, Iowa State, West Virginia. Those would be the two maybes.
Okay. That's fine by
5 to
me.
7, yeah. They were 7 and 6 last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up about the same.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, we could put the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the 5 to 7 tier. I want to put them above Colorado. I think they're a better team than Colorado. I think those two teams are going to be very similar.
Colorado. Yeah.
So I'm totally comfortable putting those teams in that tier.
You want to stick in Texas?
Yeah, we could do TCU, but before we get into TCU, I want to tell you a little bit about all of our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Guys, if you haven't been, highly recommend you check it out, especially if you're in need of a vacation, but you don't necessarily want to spend all the money to go out of town. A great place for a staycation. Nobody does it better. They offer an authentic and immersive experience with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you're not going to find anywhere else in the desert. They haven't just set a high bar, Eric. They have set the highest bar with their state-of-the-art gaming floor. It's got it all with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, and live table games, not to mention Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. Just head over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
I hate to inform you, but you missed your chance at an excellent ad transition. Before we talk about TCU, how about TCU do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos? Come on, man. It's a layup. It's easy. I don't know why you're so angry at me.
I'm not even going to look at him.
Okay, tell you what. Can I make it up to you?
You try.
What if I got you a lottery ticket and we went on a nice scenic hike together?
I mean, I think that might be okay.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty nice day, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah, we might be friends.
And what if I told you that those things can mesh together into one unique and new ticket promotion with Arizona Lottery called Arizona Adventure? There are 3 ways to play and to win big. You can just buy tickets featuring some iconic landscapes around Arizona, and these tickets have prizes up to $50,000. That's the classic way that you can win. What you can also do is check in at geolocated adventures at 10 destinations from across the state, from Flagstaff to Yuma, everywhere in between. You can check in there and you get entered for a chance to win $1 million in cash plus Arizona travel prizes. Once you check in at that destination, go to www.azadventure.com for details and directions, plus a portion of all of the proceeds from all of the tickets and everything is going to go towards conserving Arizona wildlife and Arizona's environmental state. It's going to be quite the great cause for you to get involved in. Plus, you can win some money. It is a win-win situation with our friends over in Arizona Lottery. But will TCU win, or lot? I'm sorry.
Sharon in the chat, I think Texas Tech will be 7 or 8 with improvements in the offseason. I agree. I think Texas Tech is going to be an improved program, but I don't think they are hovering too deep into the 8-9 wins. I think 7 wins for Texas Tech is probably the sweet spot.
And I think with the current state of the Big 12, you can be a better football team, but have the same record as you were last year. This is a very
the top of the conference
even
is
conference.
Pretty stacked.
The bottom of the conference is also pretty trash. But overall, there's only a few teams that you can walk up and be like, yeah, that's gonna be an easy win.
Now, looking at TCU, they start the schedule off with 4 very winnable games.
Definitely.
Stanford, Long Island University, which is not a real place, UCF, and then SMU. Long Island University? Yes.
The Sharks?
Long Island University. That's crazy. UCF, SMU, that's 4-0. On the road against Kansas, that's an L. Then Houston. Do we have... I think TCU beats Houston. I think TCU.
We haven't done Houston's schedule yet.
So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. Lose to Utah. Lose to Tech. Beat Baylor. That's 6.
Lose to Oklahoma State. Lose to Arizona. Beat Cincinnati.
So 7 wins.
7 wins for TCU from 5-7 to 7-5.
Again, feels like that sweet spot for them.
Well, they have
5-7 was a really bad year for them,
and they have a much easier schedule.
And Sharon brings up a great
WVU.
point. Like, there will be a lot of games with upsets or surprise wins in the Big 12. We're pretty much just going off immediate. Like, this is what we think. Like, there's so much that kind of happens.
Sorry, Charlie
in the chat. Stop. I'm from Long Island. Jeez. But did you go to Long Island University?
If you're from Long Island, you should recognize that the Long Island University Sharks are not a powerhouse in college football.
Long Island University Sharks. It's just not real. It's not a real university. There's no way.
I don't know, man. I really love their rivalry with Stonehill and Merrimack in the NEC. I don't even know what that is. In the Northeastern Conference.
I don't either.
Sacred Heart. Central Connecticut. I mean, these are teams that are just great football schools.
Back on track, Eric. So 7 wins.
That is on track for me, damn it.
7 wins for TCU. Comfortable with that?
they would be in the 5 to 7. So I guess
they'd be in the
I'm
5
thinking,
to 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're 6 or 5, but we can put them in that. We can put them in that tier.
Put TCU in that 5 to
5 to
7. Where do we
7.
want to put them? Behind Colorado or
I
ahead
think
of
they're
Colorado?
behind Colorado.
Okay, we can put them behind Colorado.
Because we had Colorado at 5 wins. So we would.
It doesn't. You're thinking too deep into this, Erik.
Damn it, I'm always thinking.
You're trying to keep the numbers up. There's no way for us to remember all of these things. Charlie in the chat, I rep Iowa State. We have Iowa State also in the 5 to 7 win mark, but certainly
definitely closer to 7 than 5.
Yeah, and I think they could surpass that.
And out of that tier, I mean, we have them at the top. They are by far the most likely to exceed our expectations.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay. Houston. We could do Houston now. Houston's another program like TCU and Baylor, in all honesty, where I don't really know. The expectations for this team are kind of average. Houston 4-8 overall last season, 11th in the Big 12.
2-7.
Not very good. Not very good. They've got UNLV. That's a dub. They're going to lose to Oklahoma on the road.
Yep.
Then they've got Rice and Cincinnati. I think that could be 3 games that they win.
I think they start. Yeah, they'll probably start off 3-1. UNLV. I don't know, man. That just has they won the Mountain West last year, or they're first in the Mountain West. They're 9-5 overall.
You want to say UNLV wins that one?
UNLV has more of a shot than I think you gave them credit for.
Yeah, I know. I immediately just kind of write off some of these non-conference games.
Rice. Okay, here are their automatic wins. Okay,
Rice,
Cincinnati, Baylor.
That's 3.
BYU is a maybe. UNLV is a maybe. Other than that, they're losing to Oklahoma. They're losing to Iowa State. They're losing to TCU.
I don't know, man.
TCU's a maybe. Ooh,
this is tough.
Yeah, this is a weird one. They're definitely losing.
But they can at least win 3. Is what you got, right?
Yeah, definitely 3. We're ruling out no win against Arizona, Kansas State, Utah, Kansas, Iowa State. Those are all losses. Oklahoma. Those are all losses. Your maybes are UNLV, TCU, Baylor, BYU.
Those are your maybes.
I guess you can probably beat Baylor. BYU is your maybe.
Let's go ahead. Let's put up the tier list real quick.
Geez,
so
this is a hard one.
It's between 3 and 5 wins, or 2 and 4, or 5 and 7. I don't think they're a 5 to 7 win team.
I don't know.
I think even if they get 4 wins, that's the most they'll get.
Should we just put them in 0 to 1 to piss people off?
No.
It looks so lonely down there.
I know, but it's a lonely place. It's a lonely place.
Yeah, we could put them in 2 to 4.
Okay, where do you want to put them in 2 to 4? Top 2 to 4?
Top of 2 to 4.
Over UCF? I can live with that.
4.
I could certainly see this team winning 5 games. I could also see them winning 2 games. So yeah, we can.
It doesn't. They don't want Houston to be at the top of the tier.
Kyle's trying. Kyle is really trying. There
Kyle.
you go. Oh,
there we go.
there
And now
we go. Your Arizona State Sun Devils.
10+ wins, baby.
Just throw it up there. No. Arizona State. Look, when this first came out, we knew that it was a tough schedule for Arizona State.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I do think they beat Wyoming.
I agree.
And I think they beat Texas State.
I agree.
I think they lose to Mississippi State.
I think that's definitely it's a tough game, but I don't think that's an unwinnable game, but I'm okay giving them a loss.
I think they beat Tech.
Okay, yeah.
That's 3 wins.
Okay.
Lose to Kansas, lose to Utah. Really tough games back to back. Then you're at Cincinnati. I think that's a win. That's 4, right?
Yeah, because you got to win over Cincinnati, Texas State, Wyoming.
You lose
Tech.
to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
UCF.
I think they beat UCF at home.
Is that 6?
That's 5.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 5.
That's 5. They'll lose to Kansas State.
BYU is a tough one. I think we're looking at a 6-win football team.
Yeah, 5 to 6.
I think we're looking at a 6-win football team.
That'd be a tier
in the 5 to 7. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna piss people off.
Beautiful. I agree, though. I think Arizona State is going to be an improved team.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at this. This is not one of the harder schedules.
Service gets it. ASU is going to beat them.
Yeah, this is they're not facing them head on. I wish they were. I really wish that they were playing each other.
I do too. But I said that last year. I said that last year.
Deion's not going to be coaching Colorado the next time that ASU and CU square off.
That's valid. So
that I'm pretty confident about.
Arizona State in the 5 to 7 tier for sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's a little home cooking.
Now, where do we want to put them? Right behind Iowa State?
Right above. We'll put them right above CU, right below Texas Tech.
But we haven't beaten Texas Tech.
We do have them beating Texas Tech.
You want to really piss people off, you put them in front of Texas Tech.
You want to really piss people off? Put them in 8 to 9.
Yeah.
We'll put them above Tech, And that way, when all the ASU people see our tier, they're going to love it. And then when all the people, like, it's just mild enough to, like, piss people off.
It's a mild amount.
But you can defend it.
Yeah.
ASU will be ball eligible in 2024, says Antoine. I don't disagree with you,
I
Antoine.
love it.
I don't disagree
that
with
was
you.
that was the name I was born with?
No.
Yeah, I was born Antoine Totri.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But just to recap for everybody on audio, this is what the tier list
no. Shut up. Was that on your birth certificate?
That was my birth certificate, yeah.
I
had a hyphenated last name.
So
I had a first name and a hyphenated last name.
So it was on your birth certificate says what?
Currently?
So you changed your birth certificate.
I legally changed my name.
When you were 18?
High school.
Okay. So when you were born, it was legally what? I'm very interested in this.
Matthew was my middle name. So it was Antoine Matthew Hooper Totri was my name.
That's a fire ass name.
That's a long ass name.
That's a D3 quarterback right there, baby.
It is a D3 quarterback through and through, man. Throwing for 3,000 yards, 20 tutties, and 20 INTs.
That's a cool
Winston
name.
2.0. I play at Long Island University.
I'm calling you
Sharks.
Antoine.
No, you're not. We're not doing that.
I'm calling you Antoine.
For everybody on audio, this is what the final look of the tier list looks like. So at the top 10-win mark, we've got Kansas and Oklahoma State. In the 8-9 tier, we've got Arizona, Kansas State, and Utah. In the 5-7, we've got Iowa State, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Colorado, TCU, and West Virginia. And then in the 2-4 range, we've got Houston, UCF, BYU, Baylor, and Cincinnati. We've got nobody going winless or one win here in the tier list today, guys. Sharing in the chat, I think UA should be lower in the 8-9 win group. Too many defensive questions and coaching questions. Look, I'm very, very interested to see what the Wildcats look like in 2024. With Brent Brennan, obviously we know about the losses that they've got across the roster. They were able to bring back a good chunk of their starters from last season, but they did lose some key players at some key positions, and it hurts to not have Jed Fish be the coach of that team.
8-9 wins after going through what your football program went through is actually a compliment.
It's a good season.
And if you can't take that, then I don't know.
It's a good season. Arizona had one successful season, and they think that they belong in the same
college
conversation.
Football playoffs.
Yeah, you're not. Okay, let's back down. Okay, and my spelling was not that spelling. It was ANTOINE. Yeah,
that makes sense.
There you go. Guys, that is going to do it for today's PHNX Sun Devil Show. I can't believe we went an hour. That's absolutely insane to me. But if you enjoyed the content, do us a solid. Give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow my main man, Erik, here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K, guys. But in the meantime, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.